Hello everyone and welcome to this LyricLand video with me, Mr. Linham, where today we're doing episode 1 of our film music project. So what is our film music project? It's where we together start to explore different kinds of film music and look at how film music uses the elements of music. Can you remember what the 7 elements of music are? I'll give you a moment to think about it. What are they? There's 7 of them. Can you count them on your fingers? You should have pitch, rhythm, tempo, dynamics, structure, texture, and timbre. Those are the 7 elements of music. And no matter whether you're working at the highest, most complicated level of music, looking at Bach chorale scores and big orchestral pieces, or if you're doing what we're doing today, where we're still at the beginning of our musical journey, the 7 elements of music don't change. They are the building blocks on which all music is understood. We're going to start with our first task. In this first task, we're going to be looking at which music is appropriate for what kind of film. I'm going to improvise a series of pieces and you've got to decide what the right film is for it. You could also decide what the wrong film is as well. Let's see how we get on. Here's our first piece. That first piece we just listened to, I was imagining an astronaut floating around in outer space. The high sounds and the kind of openness of the sound made me think of like the big expanse of space. Let's have a different one. Number 2, using your imaginations. Very different second piece. What kind of film were you imagining? For me, I was imagining lots of kind of like barbarians running around the forest, fighting each other with swords and all of that kind of thing. Or certainly an action film, or something a bit fantastical could certainly be it. Let's try number 3. That's all you get with that one. Not a very long one, that one. But for me, I think the moment you hear rippling piano, it's got to be love, hasn't it? It's got to be a romantic film. You certainly get that kind of lovey feel. But what is it about the music that we're playing here that makes it sound like those 3 different kinds of films? It's how we use the elements of music. So what we're going to do as we work through the different weeks is we are going to be exploring each different style of film music and looking at how the elements of music change or are used in different ways in order to get the most out of that style. It's going to be really, really interesting, I hope, and there's going to be lots of fun projects to do. Let's move on to our second task. For our second task, I'm going to give you 2 very short pieces of music, and you've got to decide which one is most appropriate for the style of music. You're going to call the first one A or the second one B. A? Yeah, B. Exactly. For our first example, we're going to go with a superhero movie. Is piece A or piece B more appropriate for a superhero movie? That's A, now B. It's hard, isn't it? Because in some ways you could say that the B is very good with its romantic theme. I suppose it depends what kind of superhero it is. But for me, I think A is the right answer. Give yourself a Mr. Linham point if you got that one right. Yes! Number 2, King Arthur in Camelot, wandering around in medieval England. Which style of music is more appropriate, A or B? And now B. Once again, an interesting debate going on in your mind, A or B. For me, I was trying to get some kind of medieval, folky sounding music to happen, and that's why B is the right answer. Finally, number 3, outer space. We're out there with the aliens, and we're floating around, and there's all of that going on. Which one, A or B, for aliens in outer space? That was A. Now for B. Now, if it was a kids' film, like made for you guys, then you could say that B is the right choice, because aliens in kids' films, there could be something very right about that. But perhaps the more open sound of the first piece, big wide intervals being the gap between each note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Depending on the gap, that gives a kind of open idea. Well, I hope you've had fun working through those. We're now going to move on to our song, which is part of this project. Our song is actually not an original song by Mr. Linham. I know! Dramatic! In this original song, what I've done is I've actually added words to works by John Williams. And John Williams is one of my favourite film composers, though we are going to look and listen to lots and lots of different film composers. But he's one of my favourites because he did the music for Jurassic Park and for E.T. and for Harry Potter and loads of things. And we're going to start by putting words to some of his songs. Now, one of his most famous ones is this. Of course, that is Jaws, isn't it? That's Jaws, the famous film from the 60s with the shark going around in the water and having a nom nom nom, having people for lunch. The interesting thing about Jaws is you don't see the shark until way through the film, like kind of about halfway before you actually see the shark. The music and the shadow of the shark is far scarier than seeing what in the 1960s looked very much like a giant plastic shark. So, in the piano part, what they had to do, and the low brass and the low strings, is they had to give that ominous feeling, which they did, through that very small interval, getting faster and faster. That gap is very, very small, and you can hear the tempo increasing as it moves through. And we're going to put words to it. We're going to go music, film music, film music, 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 music. Now, I don't know how many of them there are, but that's what it is. Let's try it all together. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Music, film music, film music, 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 music. And then we're going to go into something else. Now, you'll have spotted that the rest in there is 5 counts long. I'll do that again. It's 5 counts long. That's fun. 5 counts long. Woohoo! 5. We're going to try and get that exactly right now. Let's have another go at it. 1, 2, 3. Music. Film music. Film music. And if you want to do your shark impression, feel free to do that. That is the first part. We've got 3 other parts of this song we're going to learn, because now it goes into something else. If you recognise this piece of music, that's because it is John Williams's Jurassic Park theme. The original Jurassic Park from the 90s, not the new one with all these big dinosaurs. Dinosaurs! This song has got actions, so let's do the actions. We're going to go cinema, see a film. So that's cinema, see a film. Cinema, see a film. Then we go on a very large TV. Oh, I'm on a TV perhaps, or computer. On a very large TV. From cinema, 1, 2, 3. Cinema, see a film on a very large TV. Then we go eating popcorn and hear a tune. One more time. Eating popcorn and hear a tune. Then we conduct badly as the music fills the room. So, as the music fills the room. Let's put that all in a row. Cinema, 1, 2, 3. Cinema, see a film on a very large TV. Eating popcorn and hear a tune as the music fills the room. Fantastic. Next part. So we're going to go right arm first. It is grand. Then left arm. It is good. And it should look nice and well balanced, like jelly on a plate. It is grand. It is good. Then we go. And it sounds just like it should. So it is grand. It is good. And it sounds just like it should. Let's add that on from cinema. 1, 2, 3. Cinema, see a film on a very large TV. Eating popcorn and hear a tune as the music fills the room. It is grand, it is good, and it sounds just like it should. Fantastic, I'm sure you got it. If you haven't, rewind me and watch me again. Next part, helps the plot along. Helps the plot along. Helps the plot along with a song. Helps the plot along with a song. And you start to hum along. Now this is different to the conducting. The conducting was bigger and fuller. And this is like humming, so it's like kind of little and like a little ditty. Start to hum along. Let's see if we can go from the beginning now with the Jaws theme on the beginning. So music, film music. It goes music, 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 cinema. And then you're in. If it goes wrong, don't worry. You can watch this over and over again until you get it right. Music, here we go, after 3. 1, 2, 3. Music. Film music. Film music. Eating popcorn and hear a tune as the music fills the room. It is grand, it is good, and it sounds just like it should. Help the plot with a song, and you start to hum along. Now that's as much of it as we're going to do for this week. There is more, and you'll find below this video a backing track and all of the lyrics if you want to try the whole song. So you can enjoy that at a later date. But for now, in this video, that's as far as we're going to go. Let's try it from the top. Music. 1, 2, 3. Music. to harmony. And our next bit of the melody, that's going to come next week. You've got that to look forward to. Amazing! I hope you've had fun learning the song. We're now going to move on to the Foley Challenge. Now, some of you might be wondering, what is the Foley Challenge, or what even Foley is? And Foley is any sound effect that's added into a film. If you hear a door squeaking or slamming, if you hear a car engine or a helicopter, blades spinning around, whatever that sound is, we call it Foley. G'day. As part of these videos, every week I'm going to set you a Foley challenge to go around wherever you live, wherever you are, and try and find the best version of this sound. And this week's sound is the best sound of a door. I want you to go around, whether it's your classroom, your home, wherever you are, public transport, I don't know, but try and find the best door sound. It could be a really squeaky door. It could be a door that slams really nicely. Don't upset your friends and family, but find your best door sound. That's my challenge for you. At the end of this video, that's what I want you to go off and do. Find the best door. Hey, you're adorable. Now we're going to move on to our listening project.
If you've got ears on your head and your brain in between, you're ready for a little bit of listening.
Ning, 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 listening. In this week's listening project, we're going to be listening to the music of the Lord of the Rings movie. The interesting thing about the film music we're listening to today is that it might be a film that you've never seen, and that's okay. I don't want you to go off and be watching loads of random films, though. Obviously, films are enjoyable, but we're going to be listening to the music. And I want you to really be thinking about how the elements of music are used to get the most out of that music. This is The Shire from The Lord of the Rings. It's a beautiful little tune. And number one, I want you to think about which element of music makes it sound like it sounds homely. Why does it sound like it's at home? Some music doesn't sound at home. It sounds like I'm not at home if I play that. There's no way I'm at home. If I play this, I'm definitely at home. So we can use the elements of music to describe what makes it sound like home, what's the warmth in that sound. So thinking about pitch and thinking about timbre. Secondly, I want you to say one thing that you liked about it, because this is an orchestral piece, and see if you can identify some of the instruments of the orchestra that you particularly enjoyed. And then finally, the third one is to use your imagination and say, where could you imagine being as you listen to this piece of music? Because this piece of music is written about a mythical place called the Shire. It's not a real place, you can't visit it, though there is a place in New Zealand where they've actually built it. But it's not a real place because it's a mythical fantasy land. Those are the three things I want you to think about. Let's listen to the piece now. Well, I really hope you enjoyed listening to that piece of music. It's really beautiful, I think. So, our question about what makes it sound like home then? Well, if we're talking about pitch, we can say that it uses major chords and not minor chords. Major chords sound like this, minor chords sound like this. Major chords are considered happy, minor chords are considered sad. And that major sound, being very much part of the Shire, makes it feel like home. Secondly, what instruments did we like to listen to? Well, for me, I don't know what you thought, but I really enjoy the warm strings. There's a really lush kind of string sound in there, which I think is really enjoyable. It's just a really warm colour because it's a thick, there's lots of layers within the texture of the strings and they're grouped closely together. They're not really far apart, which has a very different effect, doesn't it? They're all together. And it's homely, isn't it? It's nice, it's lovely. And finally, did you like it? Where were we? Well, that for me, I just feel like it's an English country garden. Oh, it's fantastic, isn't it? Well, I hope you enjoyed the listening project. Now let's have a game of Don't Clap This One Back.
Don't clap this one back, don't clap this one back.
As you know, with Don't Clap This One Back, we know the rules. It is don't clap this one back. If If you hear that and you clap it, you're out. You failed. I'm sorry. I know it's terrible. Okay, let's give it a go. Don't clap this one back. Don't clap this one back. Don't clap this one back. I'm sure you've done brilliantly, and do remember that below this video you can try and sing the whole film music song. It works with all sorts of different film music styles, which I hope you can enjoy. Next week we're looking at action films. It's going to be very exciting indeed. I'll see you for another video. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you very, very soon. Bye!